The gay, lesbian, and feminist backlash. The modern era of the gay and lesbian rights movement is usually marked as starting on a hot July evening at the Stonewall Inn in New York City's Greenwich Village. The New York police, as many city police departments across the United States did, made period raids on sexual minority bars to harass and arrest the patrons. On this particular night, transgendered woman, Sylvia Rivera, resisted arrest, touching off a riot that continued for 3 nights running. In the next year, 3 transgendered people, Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson, and Angela Keys Douglas, would play pivotal roles in organizing the emergent Gay Liberation Front and the Gay Activists Alliance. The goal of the Gay Liberation Front was complete acceptance of sexual diversity and expression. But by 1971 the gay men's community had returned to the assimilationist strategy as the lesbians turned to separatism and radical feminism. There seemed to be no room for transgendered people in either camp.
There was a time when if you were a black person and you had a light skin and you had whiter features, you therefore were more acceptable, you were considered a more desirable black person, even within the black community. Now, what I'm really asking you is, within the homosexual community, is there an image that the manly homosexual is at the top of the heap? He's the guy who can fit easily into both worlds, and therefore he is king homosexual.
Yeah, I would say so. He's the most attractive.
I don't like that at all.
I mean, because most homosexuals are looking for a man, and they're looking for what society has defined for them for a man. So here's
the drag queen then at the very bottom?
Yes.
More or less, yeah.
The drag queen is something we've been stuck with, frankly, because the drag queen makes up about 1% of the homosexual population. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of homosexuals, and you'll have a whole room full of people, and one drag queen will come in, and because that person dresses eccentrically and looks bizarre, that's the one that will get all the attention. And this is from the media. And also it's the only homosexual straight people ever see.
They were into their image. In the beginning, it was fine. You see, when I went to GA, I was not in full drag. I was in full face makeup, hair teased. And I actually was working at that time. I wasn't even hustling the streets. They dealt with that at a level. But the more meetings that I went to, I noticed that I wasn't part of it. And I would never be part of it. And I started to hang out again in the streets and whatnot, and became a street person again and a hustler and whatnot, and I started organizing my people. And GAA wasn't there to give a helping hand. They didn't want nothing to do with the street people.
Was STAR formed already by then?
Actually, STAR was born out of the NYU Synod.
What does STAR mean?
Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries.
What was the reason for starting it?
My brothers and sisters kept on using us. And we wanted to be by ourselves.
How many queens were involved in STAR? Was it a small group?
It was a very small. It was myself, Marsha Johnson, Bambi Lamore, and Dora. I had like several women in there. Okay, wait a minute.
So maybe a half dozen.
Yeah, a half dozen. Bibi was part of my group at one time.
Did you ever test?
Marsha and I had a building on 2nd Street, which is called Star House. When we asked the community to help us, there was nobody to help us. We were nothing. We were nothing. And now we were taking care of kids that were younger than us. I mean, Marsha and I were young, and we were taking care of them. And GAA had teachers and lawyers and whatnot. All we asked them was, well, if you could help us teach our own so we can all become a little bit better There was nobody there to help us. There was nobody.
They left you.
They left us hanging. There was only one person that came and helped us. Once again, Bob Kohler was there. He helped us pay. He helped us put wires together. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I mean, we took a building that was, a slum building. And we tried. We really did. We went out and made that money off the streets to keep these kids off the street.
So you sold yourselves to take care of the kids?
Instead of showing them what we were doing. Because we already went through it.
But you wanted to protect them? What were you protecting them from?
From the world, from life in general. Just about, to show them that there was a better life.
So who were these other kids? The young ones, where'd they come from?
From everywhere. We had kids from Boston, California, everywhere. We needed the monies from the community, and the community was not going to help us.
I got you.
In 1971, the GAA wrote and introduced a bill to the New York City Council that was the first omnibus anti-discrimination bill to protect homosexual people. However, in spite of early and avid support of the GAA by trans people, the bill completely ignored trans people. Sylvia Rivera, disgusted by the betrayal, said to the leaders of the GAA, "It's not us that they are afraid of, it's you. Get rid of us. Sell us out. Make us expendable. Then you're at the front lines. Don't you understand that?" This marked the first serious betrayal, but certainly not the last. Disillusioned by the GAA's betrayal of trans people, Angela Douglas formed the transsexual activist organization along the same lines as the GAA, with some of the loftier ideals of the GLF. She began publishing Moonshadow, a quirky newsletter for and about trans people in the struggle for legal rights. In July of 1973, during a Gay is Good rally, Sylvia Rivera was followed on the stage by lesbian separatist Jean O'Leary. She denounced transgender people as men who, by impersonating women, were exploiting women for profit. It was the beginning of a series of such high-profile transphobic attacks from the lesbian community.
Lesbian feminist liberation negotiated for a week and a half, using the means that rational women and women have always used in the past, not disruptive means, to try to get up here and read a statement. We were told no, that there would be no political statements read today, because one person, a man, Sylvia, gets up here and causes a ruckus. We are now allowed to read our statement. And I think that says something right there. Now, I'd like to go on and speak, but I have written here a statement that is backed up by 100 women. And this was voted on, so I'm just going to read this statement.
Yeah, when you open anymore, you can't do it.
When men impersonate women for reasons of entertainment or profit, they insult women. We support the right of every person to dress in the way that she or he wishes, but we are opposed to the exploitation of women by men for entertainment or profit. Men have been telling us who we are all our lives. They have tried to do it with scholarship, with religion, with psychiatry. When all else fails, they have used humor to tell us and each other who and what we are. What we object to today is another instance in which men, laughing with one another at what they present as women, are telling us who they think we are. We don't want to know. Men have never been able to show us ourselves. We are coming into a time and a place as women at which we can and do show one another who we are. All right? Let men tell each other what they think of women. Let us tell you who we are.
Transvestites have expressed the views of many transvestites, but not of all transvestites. Some are in shows, some are cross-dressers. I think that we should listen. That's all. Just listen and not fight. And this is Lee Brewster. I apologize for this outburst. But I cannot sit and let my people be insulted. Hang on. They've accused me of reminding you too many times that the day you're celebrating was a result of what the drag queen did at the Stonewall.
I think the fuck not, you trick-ass bitch.
I've tried for 3 years to put my position before you. I've opened up every public place in this city for you, but not for my people. You go to bars because of what drag queens did for you, and that these bitches tell us we're offensive? We gave you your pride. They are oiling the doors for your people to come out of the closet. But I am not going to oil the doors with tears any longer. Gay liberation, screw you! I've gone in my closet and reached my 20,000 readers and bring them out by myself with my magazine drag. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Goodbye. Good luck, my sometime friend. So, please don't fight with each other. Please, that's all I want is that you don't fight with each other. Keep talking. I would like to give you somebody who has something. People here have something to say. Hi, baby. Nothing. I've been trying to get up here all day for your gay brothers and your gay sisters in jail. They write me every motherfucking week and ask for your help. And you all don't do a goddamn thing for them. Have you ever been beaten up and raped in jail? Now think about it. They've been beaten up and raped after they haven't spent much of their money in jail to get their cell phones and tried to get their sex change. The women have tried to fight for their sex changes or to become women of the women's liberation. And they write STAR, not the women's group. They do not write women. They do not write men. They write STAR because we're trying to do something for them. I have been to jail. I have been raped and beaten many times by men, heterosexual men that do not belong in the homosexual shelter. But do you do anything for them? No. You all tell me to go and hide my tail between my legs. I will not longer put up with this shit. I have been beaten. I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. I have lost my apartment for gay liberation. And you all treat me this way? What the fuck's wrong with you all? Think about that. I do not believe in a revolution, but you all do. I believe in the gay power. I believe in us getting our rights, or else I would not be out there fighting for our rights. That's all I wanted to say to your people. If you all want to know about the people that are in jail, and do not forget Bambi Lamore and Dora Marks, Kenny Messner, and other gay people that are in jail, come and see the people at Starhouse on 12th Street, on 640 East 12th Street, between B and C, apartment 14. The people that are trying to do something for all of us, and not men and women that belong to a white middle class, white club. And that's what you all belong to. Revolution now! Give me a G! Give me an A! Give me a Y! Give me a P! Give me an O! Give me a W! Give me an E! Give me an R! Gay power! Louder gay power!
To me, it was so unreal because she's there and she's shouting at all these middle-class guys that look like a college prep fraternity all seated there. I mean, they're all in their 20s and they're all like middle classes. And she kept talking on and on about your forgotten sisters in jail. And it just isn't the kind of thing that people, that middle-class people, that these people that were there had any relationship to at all.
It was ugly. It was really ugly at that rally. You really saw the hatred coming out between the men and the women, between the women who wanted to fight just for women's rights, who did not want to in any way be connected with a political group in which transvestites were part of it because they felt the transvestites were mocking women. It just was ugly.
Men and women that belong to a white middle class, white club. And that's what you all belong to. Revolution now! Give me a G! Give me an A! Give me a Y! Give me a P! Give me an O! Give me a W! Give me an E! Give me an R! Gay power!
I was hurt, and I felt that the movement had completely betrayed the drag queens and the street people. And I felt that, you know, the years that I had already given them had been a waste. So I went home, locked up the house. If it wasn't for Marsha, I wouldn't be here right now. I got 60 stitches in this arm. She came home and found me bleeding to death.
Sylvia left the movement after the first three or 4 years because in this very park she had been refused the right to speak, and it was right here with the rally after one of the Pride marches.
It was like the 4th anniversary gay march when I was beat up on stage.
Y'all better quiet down.
Cut the bullshit.
Sylvia did grab the mic and speak, and she roared.
Revolution now! Give me a G! Give me an A! Give me a Y! Give me a P! Give me an O! Give me a W! Give me an E! Give me an R! Gay power!
I've never seen anyone so lost. I mean, Sylvia's world had suddenly just collapsed. And Sylvia left the movement for 20 years.
Good luck, my sometime friends. Please don't fight with each other. Please, that's all I want, is that you don't fight with each other.
Vito He was trying to bring people together, but as someone who was in the audience, I don't think he had a real idea of the degree to which things had deteriorated.
Vito did his best to get us together on the same track, but it got totally disrupted. And Vito, much as he tried, couldn't hold it all together.
I heard a little bit on the radio, and it sounded like you were beating each other up out here.
Ultimately, he succeeded by bringing on Bette Midler, which kind of would do it.
Check out the house.
It brought the crowd together. It actually was this tremendously healing moment.
They loved Bette because she had appeared at the Tubs. She was a straight woman ally, so there was a great deal of goodwill towards her. But at the same time, it was like there was a faction saying, what's she doing here? A lot of them didn't want to make friends. They just wanted to establish a political base of gay people.
Gone. She's gone. Thank you.
GAA didn't last long. When GAA began to fall apart after 73, I think historically it passed its time, as every group does, and evolves into something else. Eventually, GAA sort of petered out. Its time was over. It was time for something else.